And the name of the show is Winning Customers, because I like to think that when you do things right, you not only win customers, but it's the customers too, and especially the customers that win. So stick around for this infinite ride. It's like a carousel, but there's no admission charge, and just scream if you want to go faster. But today, because we're introducing the series, the brand new season, thank you for joining me. And it's jittery. I'm just trying to sort of figure out the best way that I can squeeze the most processing power out of this cantankerous laptop. So this is more of a sort of an episode 0. This is the pilot episode while we try and figure things out. You'll notice the camera's not exactly perfect. You'll probably notice that things are starting to sort of slow up and then speed up again. Bottom of the screen, you'll see ways to get in touch with me, Dave at wordandmouth.com, of course. Twitter.com/Dave Thackeray if you want to be in it to win it. And here to answer all your questions about content, about communication, about how to get closer to customers, how to win them, and how to keep them, more importantly. So without further ado, I've just got a few things to start the engines with. And everything that I'm talking about is going to be very subjective. We all have different approaches. Content's not an immature medium. We've been doing this for years. We've been doing this since you and I lived in caves. In fact, I think I did live. I lived and left a cave. Probably should go back there. But what's great about the fact that we all have different opinions is that we can rub along together, and there is no canonical answer. There are different ways of doing things, and on this show, Winning Customers, we're going to be talking about processes and workflows. As things mature a little bit, hopefully I will too, we'll start to sort of get into the weeds and take it from there. So first up, I wanted to talk to you about something that I've been working on lately with all of the large language models, all of the different AIs, whether it's Claude or Bard or Bing Chat, ChatGPT in a different dress. You can obviously choose GPT-4, which is the best of OpenAI's large language models to use, theoretically. Well, I'm just been looking around trying to find ways that I can make myself more efficient in the development, publication, and testing of content, and taking it right back to the very beginning. When I've got kind of like I use hat tip to my favorite product designer, Josh Slater, for this one. I use a model called Double Diamond when I'm developing content or when I'm creating a content strategy, because you have to go through a sort of a fairly formalized process, and you can slice and dice it whichever way you like, but ultimately it's all about discovery. And if you're a business, I advise you to do this sort of once every 6 months. It's really, really super important, because it will always unearth fresh insights about what your customers need to win and how you can also win through them. So what do I mean by discovery? Well, discovery is where you start doing things like you audit your website and all of your touch points with the customer and with your suppliers, whoever your stakeholders are, especially internal customers, employees as well, because they're the ones that make you tick. So start figuring out sort of what's out there, what's repping you when it comes to content. Also need to, more importantly, and this does roughly speak to content, need to speak to customers and all of your customer-facing colleagues to find out what customers are saying on the street, how they feel about your business, how they feel about your products and your services. And then we need to do competitor analysis. So just sort of, have a little bit of see which way the wind is blowing, see what I presume your competitors are. Satya Nadella at Microsoft knows very well that the Page and Schmidt kind of people are on his radar. You will know, if you're a window cleaning business, that John's a Pain, which is a great business name for a window cleaner, down the road is looking to eat your lunch. So you need to keep an eye on what he's doing, the ways that he's working with his customers, what he's doing in terms of product refinement, might be doing some mean R&D on the window cleaning scene, you need to be aware of all that sort of stuff. And you can put that into a nice little 2x2 matrix to figure out, where you have opportunities and where you need to protect your moat from the competition. We need to do that. And what I tend to do to wrap all this stuff up is put it into a nice little lean canvas, which is essentially a way of sort of identifying all of your routes to market, all of your products, all of your strengths, all of your weaknesses, your points of differentiation. In the comment description, wherever you'll be seeing this, I'll drop a link to some great examples of lean canvases or lean canvas eye, so that you can quite easily put your own together. Maybe even pop a template in as well. There's all sorts of templates for lean canvas, but I thoroughly recommend it because it helps focus the mind. So that's a very short soup to nuts discovery session. And the reason why you're seeing Bing on your screen right now is because this almost kicks off the conversation. As a writer, we all have writer's block. And I found out the other week about designer's block, and where these AIs come in handy in one of a million different ways is they free you from the shackles of whatever block that might be. They get you thinking in a different direction. So what are we seeing here? Well, this was very simply a great little prompt that I put into Bing Chat just to flatter the agent, to say, hey, you're genius, which obviously you'd like to think if you were a bot that you are. I want you to imagine you're a customer of Snowflake. Now, Snowflake is a big data warehousing company going great guns, especially now when people are even more overloaded than ever with data. Where to put it, how to consolidate it, how to streamline it, how to put it where your colleagues need it to be so that they can do better work, whatever team they're in. So I'm asking him to look at the Snowflake website and pretend that he's a customer. I'm a user researcher. I want you to tell me why you chose Snowflake, why you're a Snowflake customer, what you like most about the company and what it does, what you don't like about it, and what's the one thing you would change about the Snowflake website. So that's a nice place to start. And I'll just run that in real time now, and let's see if we get much in the way of answers. Now, the great thing about Bing Chat, and the great thing about a lot of these LLMs now, is that they are a lot quicker. When this really crossed the threshold of utility around about springtime this year, it was clunky. It was a little bit cumbersome. It wasn't doing exactly what you needed. And when it comes to user research, I'm divided about this. I'm conflicted because, I've got a lot of friends who are like, you can't replace humans because humans are conscious. Humans all have different opinions, same as we do about content. So to get an agent to assemble thoughts about something from throwing out a net across the web to create, all of these different tokens, as they call them, using transformers from all of the web's information, it's just not ethical. It's not effective. It's not helpful. I look at this because I think it's a great way to start a conversation or to pull up some things for, if you are lucky enough to work in a large enough organization that has its own dedicated user researchers. This is a great way to find stimulus for your conversation with them. So you can say, okay, these are the sort of things that, broadly speaking, I want you to deep dive in. If you haven't got that much time, then it's a great way to spend a couple of minutes to create a simple prompt in Bing or in Bard or in Claude or in Anthropic, even using Flexion if you like, which is like a compassionate AI. But yeah, just by creating that simple prompt, I've got a ton of great things. So straight away, and I'm looking into this about the pricing model. Right, okay, well, that's a valuable insight. Not really thought about that. I thought we were cost effective. We could follow up with a prompt in Bing and say, well, why are we out of touch with pricing? Who are our competitors that you'd like to or you'd consider moving across to, and what's their pricing model. So like I say, by putting a prompt in yourself, you're getting tons of prompts back. Don't consider these to be empirical, but they are anecdotal, and they have a sense of reality about them. And I think that's what we need to bear in mind. You'll notice that right at the end of the prompt, it says, give us a sort of case study that we might use on the website that takes into account everything that you've told me as part of the earlier research, to bring it to life and to get people thinking about how they can become a Snowflake customer. So this prompt has even elicited like this sample spoof case study that you could tease out of an existing happy Snowflake customer. I mean, do you know, this kind of thing is just such a great way to start the conversation with yourself, to get thinking about it in a totally different way. And that's why I really, really like that. I was going to show you some of the stuff to go Bard, but I'll take that for another episode because you've already had tons of time today and you must be bored off your tits. So tomorrow's episode, I'm going to talk to you about a new feature, part of Bard, called extensions, which is a little bit like you'll get a ChatGPT Plus member. That's a $20 a month payment where they give you plugins. So you can use all kinds of things, like you can deep dive into lots of applications and bring applications into the AI when you prompt it, when you interrogate it, so it gets a lot more granular detail. So things like I think Open Table is in there, so that you theoretically can make restaurant bookings using AI, for example. So extensions is different. It's Google's play into integrating its services into AI so that you can deep dive into YouTube, you can deep dive into your own personal repo of data that you've got in, say, Google Mail or Docs. Really, really exciting. So I'm looking forward to having a chat with you about that tomorrow. In the meantime, do drop me a line, dave@wordandmouth.com. I'd love to find out what you want to know about winning customers. If you want to look at content in a different way, we'll carry on the conversation about Double Diamond. We've talked about discovery. Where does it go from there? We'll chat around that as well. That's going to be exciting. But more importantly than that, stick around. 15 minutes is not a big commitment for the day. And when you get a lot out of it, it really is worth your time. So dave@wordandmouth.com, twitter.com/Dave Thackeray, wordandmouth.com if you want to have a chat about working with me, content coaching, content as a service, lots of things to talk about, but we'll chat them through tomorrow. Till then, have a magnificent day. You've been one, and I think we'll be speaking soon.